hi, beautiful human. This is really cool and exciting and really different. And God, you look good and you're like emitting this beautiful energy.
Thank you.
Zayn's here. Yay.
Hey.
Yay. Yay. This is weird, right? Like, is releasing music today weird to you or foreign at all? Like, how does it feel?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily weird to release music. I think when I think about my life in general, you know, it's quite a weird situation. You know, I'm a kid from Bradford in England, which doesn't have much, you know, opportunity to really leave that city for many people. So the fact that I'm here at all, even in America, I think is a big thing, you know, never mind doing what I'm doing. At this point though, I've got used to like making music and putting it out and being expressive with that, you know, it's my art. And it's something that gives me peace and like a safe space, like you were saying, you know, there's not too many variables there anymore. I've done it a lot, you know, I've sat with it, I've sat in that space and it's my safe space. I like making music and expressing it.
What does it mean to do it all on your terms?
To do it all on my terms, I think it's a really interesting question. I guess is just, you know, to fully be behind the project, you know, yourself, word for word, and really understand what it is that you're representing and what it is that you're about, instead of, you know, necessarily what people expect from you.
By the way, that takes time to figure out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to live a little bit of life, you know? You have to
be
away from all the noise and hustle and bustle of what, you know, this industry is sometimes. And that's why I live where I live, you know? I live like away from it all so I can sit in that space and think about things, you know, and contemplate what life is and actually live like a normal human being without being treated like I'm some sort of alien, you know?
How beautiful is it to live normally?
I love it, you know. It's the only way I know how to live, you know. I feel like I'm a really grounded person at this point in my career. I'm not too interested in, you know, the glitz and glam of things. And I just enjoy, you know, normal, simple things in life, like just being around my loved ones and cooking food and going outside, having a barbecue, taking my dog camping, doing some gardening, you know, simple things where there's no infiltration from other people's like expectations or opinions.
How do you keep that space pure and safe? And do the skills that you use to keep it pure and safe, I'm assuming they're kind of acquired over time, right?
How do I keep which space pure and safe?
All of it.
All of it.
Even Pennsylvania, like what you consider your home and your sanctuary.
I think that place just gives that vibe anyway, naturally, you know. I think it has that like safe feeling to it. And it just feels super grounding. There's so much nature there and just scenic, beautiful things that you can just sit and stare at for 25 minutes, you know, like, and there's no time limit. Time seems to move a bit slower there. And that place just gives me that itself, you know. It's not something I have to necessarily like work on to preserve. It's not mine, you know. It's just something that I've slotted into out there.
And over time is like, it's something bigger than you. It doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, I don't own it, you know. I like the vibe there, so I'm there.
Which is such a random place to like the vibe.
It is, and a lot of people say that to me too. You're saying like, you know, a lot of people say random things to you, random questions. The main question that I get asked is, why Pennsylvania, you know? And it was just coincidental. I ended up there and I just fell in love with it, you know? It's not really no rocket science or brain surgery. It's a beautiful place and I love it there, you know what I mean? It's that simple.
Do you manifest? Do you believe in the universe?
Somewhat, yeah. Not necessarily like manifestation, but I believe that like fate is a thing. And I believe that what's meant to be will happen.
That's beautiful. There's also peace in like releasing to that.
Yeah, once you accept that you can't control everything, there's always a little bit more peace, I think.
It's true. You talked about time, and I'm excited to talk about this album, which I would, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, I would describe it as R&B folk.
Yeah, I haven't got a name for the genre. So many people, when they listen to it, that's the first question they ask too. They're like, what genre is this? It's just me, you know, like it's just music that I like listening to and my influences. So I'd say it's it's Zayn genre, you know? Like I just made it up. There's no like specific like strategic plan behind it, like formulaic, you know, musical intellect. It's not done in that sense. It's just expression. And whatever came out, came out. And if you want to call it R&B folk, you can call it that, you know?
It's timeless.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Time is a recurring theme on the album. Has time taken on a new meaning today than maybe it's meant before?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing. In life, I feel like certain things happen, you know, that change your perception in a lot of ways. I think the main thing that happened to me obviously was me having my daughter. And I just realized that time goes real fast, like real quick, you know. Before that, I felt like I had so much time, like in my early 20s, I was like, yeah, we can, you know, take time. It's all good. We're chilling. And now there's like this level of urgency, like where I feel like I have to, you know, do things and I have goals that I want to accomplish and I want to show to my daughter before I get too old or before she gets too old and doesn't give a shit about me anymore and she's too cool for me, you know what I mean? So
Do you think of that?
I do think about that a lot. Yeah, she's just growing up so fast and, you know, there's going to be a point where I'm chasing her, you know, for her time. I'm not looking forward to it, you know what I mean? It upsets me a little bit, but it's life. People grow up and they go on their own journeys and do their own thing, you know?
How do you balance that concept of like time? It's going away. You need to do things now while you can. How do you balance that with the idea that good things do take time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this album took 6 or 7 years to get done.
Yeah.
And I could say that like this is, I mean, this is obviously the best body of work, the greatest body of work you've ever put out.
Thank you.
But also one of the greatest albums I've listened to this year and maybe in a long time.
That's crazy.
It's fucking great.
Thank you.
It's really good. It's real music. So musicianship is crazy on it.
Yeah, that's what it is with most good things in life. Though there's always a you know, two sides to the sword, double-edged sword. Sorry, and it's just finding that balance. You know what I mean? Where are you going to put the time in? What is it that is important to you to spend that time on? And you know how you're gonna really like construct it in a way that it's effective. You know. You don't have control over all of time, but the time that you do have, where are you going to spend it? You know, what's important to you? And to me, obviously, my art is one of them things. So I spend a lot of time like reading and, you know, being in that space of like developing my intellect so that when it comes to actually my craft, I'm at a certain level where I can actually give something decent, you know? And then the same thing with my daughter now. Like she's like the other main thing in my life that like I want to spend a lot of time on and be with. So I don't really have time for trivial things anymore, you know? Like I'm just not into it. It's just got to be important.
What a special place to be though, right? To cut out the noise.
Yeah, man.
To like cut out so much essentially bullshit, right? Like you reprioritize everything. You realize what matters and what's important, and like this idea that you're living for another person, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I even mentioned that in one of the songs, you know. So like I'm doing this now for a second name, you know. It's not just for myself.
I was wondering what that second name was.
Yeah, it's Khai.
That's it changes everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, by the way, the album's, like I said, amazing. There's so much here in terms of, dude, it gives honesty in a way that, like, if you really want to understand you listen to this album. But it also gives 6-7 years of evolution. So what song starts this album?
The first song that I wrote on the record was Alienated. And it was like towards the end of my relationship, like when me and my ex were like breaking up. So there's like heavy narrative of, you know, the kind of things that I was going through mentally in that situation and what I was thinking, you know, and how I was feeling. And then the record kind of just went from there, like over the like 5-6 years, like I kind of shelled it out from there. Got the kind of vibe that you were saying, you know, the R&B folk kind of sound going on. And then just went in on it more and more with each song. I developed confidence in that like genre, if you want to say, in that pocket, and things just naturally just came together. Like it was just gaining confidence with each track, basically, you know.
So are you reading books, pushing yourself intellectually before you start making this album? while you're making it.
Just coinciding all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah, I think there's always room for improvement, you know?
Because I got to say, like, there is a lot of, like, dude, there's deep meaning to things. One of my favorite deep meanings, just correct me if, by the way, look at my fucking, I don't have a desk, so I have a clipboard instead. Thank you, Jabril, for sharing your clipboard. Birds on a cloud. That is deep because a bird can never rest on a cloud, right? It's this idea of something being so beautiful but never finding peace.
Yeah.
That's deep shit.
Yeah. I appreciate that you understand that. Yeah, I like to be poetic, you know, with my words and my lyrics, and I was just thinking about that in its sentiment. But the funny thing is, the way that music works is I don't feel like you own that either, you know? Like it just comes to you when it feels like it needs to, and something can happen and inspire a thought in your mind, and then you're like, shit, like I just got this great idea, but it's not yours. The world gave it to you, you know?
Interesting. Okay. I love this conversation because artists have, and there is something, right? Like you have to be in the right space and get yourself to a place. A part of this has to be some sort of a muscle, right? Whether it's your brain or the idea of writing songs or just being a musician, right? But like you have to, something has to line up for the universe to like beam a song into you, right? Like that's kind of the case you're making, right? Like that this is given to you by something bigger than yourself, right?
Your life. Yeah, your life experience. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is true. Like every song on this album is, it seems ripped from your reality. Is that fair?
It seems
ripped from your reality?
Taken from my reality. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
People say that, you know, when they have a song that's amazing, right? Like Chris Martin's come on our show a couple times. And when he's here, he says like greatness is like, I go into this state where I don't even know where I'm at. And the universe just beams me this story. But that in theory that like the universe is tapping into something, right?
Well, I think we're all connected in the universe,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the way it works. And we're all connected to this idea of what life is, right? And things that happen in your life experience just give you knowledge on how to move in that situation. Takes time. You have to go through some shit, but you learn something at the end of it. And that's, I think, a great moral for life. You know, you have to go through some shit in order for it to feel good. There's no good without bad, and if you don't have the contrast, how do you know? You know what I'm saying?
So how did you know you were ready to even sit down and write Alienated?
How did I, what, sorry?
How do you know you were even ready to write music again?
How did I know I was ready to write it?
Yeah.
Because I was in that space. Like I was just feeling them emotions, and there were thoughts that were like in my head, you know, quite a lot, and things that I was thinking about. So I felt like I needed to express it and get it off my chest. Like,
how does that start? Does it start as a poem?
Kind of, yeah. I got some like guitar riffs and stuff, like samples, and just played them over a drum, real simple like production, and then I wrote like the melodies to the music for that song. So it depends. Each process is different. Sometimes I could have something like pre-written. For example, I like to write a lot of rap, so I'll take like bits from like certain raps that I've written, and then I'll take that and be like, oh, that'd be a really good verse, you know, like I'll use that one line there as a verse, and then develop a whole idea from just one line in a rap.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Or then sometimes I could have like a little bit of an instrument playing, like I said, like a drum or a bit of a guitar riff or whatever, just something real simple that has a lot of space for me to fuck about with. And then I can slot it in that way too. So either way.
Sick. Your voice is an instrument, and you're using it in a way that like you haven't used it on a record that's just solely you before. Is that like, it's crazy. How are you? Can you just explain to me like being in the booth cutting a record? Or do you know where you're going to do runs or hit high notes, or do you like, is it strategically placed or is it emotionally
definitely
placed?
Strategically placed. Yeah, and there's emotion behind it too. Obviously, the emotions in the delivery, you know, and like the conviction behind like the feeling of, you know, when I'm actually giving a vocal. But yeah, you gotta be strategic about that, you know, like in terms of like where the placement is in songs. Like you don't just want to come in with like a crazy ad lib as soon as the song starts, give people too much, you know. You gotta build to that moment and make it, you know, a climatic moment in the song and stuff. So definitely it's a mix of both, you know, emotion and strategy for sure.
To make the music that you're making today, like when you think back of like everything that you've done in your life and everything you've learned, it does lead you to this place, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's why that's why I'm here. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
There's been a development, you know, and I hear the development more prominently now since I've made this record. Because even like a couple of days ago, 3-4 days ago, I think I was doing Station Head, and just like playing through all of my music, like with the fans and stuff, over all of my records and listening to them back to back. Like there's some good songs, you know, on my early stuff. It's not consistently great though. Like there's some songs where you can like kind of hear I'm way more present and sure of myself and like there, you know, like behind the song. And there's other songs where it kind of feels like I'm not too sure of even, you know, like what I'm saying or what I'm doing, and there's no real like presence behind it. But this record feels like consistently every song that I'm there and I'm owning the song, and there's this development of like you said, my skills and, you know, ownership of my voice, you know, and the things I can do.
Is any of that because this is very much your story?
I think that's the key thing. I think you
Totally.
need to do that in order to connect with it in that manner, you know, in order for it to really resonate with people in that space that you can't quite explain. It has to come from this place of honesty and truth.
So the whole process starts with Alienated, right? But What I Am is the first song that you release to introduce the world to this era that is unlike anything you've ever put out in the best possible way.
Thank you.
Why is that song first?
That song's first because I felt like it was a good transition song to this space. There is other songs on the record that are way more in that pocket, you know, like way more in the folk pocket, way more in the Chris Stapleton kind of sound, you know, like.
And you worked with his producer?
I did work with his producer.
He's incredible.
He's amazing. He's a genius. Yeah.
I mean, you learn from being in that room, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, we didn't actually get in the room.
So it's just you and your little.
I had the record pretty much made myself without Dave Cobb's involvement. Like the record was fully shelled out and things were in the place that they were in before I went and asked him to be on the record. Then when I signed to Mercury, Tyler asked me if I would be interested on getting Dave Cobb in on, you know, some of the songs that we'd already done. So we texted a couple of times, spoke, got on the phone, called a couple of times and had conversations. And then from then he would just send me things over on email. We would converse over text. I'd take this out. I don't really like that, whatever. And it was super seamless. He just seemed to get everything like straight off the bat. He was like, I'd love to be involved in this. This is something that, you know, I really understand. And I feel like I could elevate it to the place that it can be shown to the world, you know? Because I was happy to just like do it that way. Like that was my original idea, to just release it without any big producer attached to it. It was just going to be like my scrapbook and my production in this room, and I just put it out and here it is, here's my cowboy album, you know? But he was obviously an amazing integral part of the finalized product. And he just brought some things that I didn't even know that were missing, you know, because he's a genius. Like when it comes to musical production, especially that kind of style of music, that pocket, he understands really well.
I would love to listen to the first version of this album, and then this. Like I've already listened to the second.
Yeah,
version
I could play you them. I've still got them versions if you want to hear them.
Oh, that would be sick.
Off the camera, I'd show you some. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, so what creative goals did you set for yourself before you really started making this thing? Did you set any?
This record.
Yeah.
The intention behind it was, you know, I want to really be involved, you know, in every single part of it, integrally. I don't just want to be a passive artist that's, you know, brought in to just sing the parts. Like I want to build this like from the ground up, and I want people to understand that I'm capable of doing that, and that I'm not a one-trick pony, you know. I'm not just out here trying to just do something because I've done it good once. Like I want to push myself and and develop and get better with time, you know?
Isn't that like, it's the hardest part about having success, like at a reasonably early age in life, right? Is this idea of one, getting trapped where you're at, and then two, determining what you find a challenge or a creative challenge or something that fulfills you, right? Like,
Definitely, yeah.
what fulfills you today is definitely not what fulfilled you 10, 12 years ago, right? Like,
yeah, well, the truth of it is, like, I would have liked to have thought at probably 17, 18 that I could have wrote this record. In actual fact, I don't think I could have, you know, like, but I would have still thought that in my mind, like, oh yeah, I am capable of writing my own record, you know? So there was always that frustration there, you know. I was in a band, I was in a 5-part band where it was, you know, constant like opinions over opinions, and, you know, this is what you want to do and this is what we want to do. So it was hard to really show that individuality and show who you were, you know, not due to anybody's fault, just circumstantial. That's the way it was, you know. So there was always that desire in me, you know, to want to write it, but would I have been capable at that age? Probably not. Like we spoke about, I had to live some life and go through some stuff to really understand how to be present behind my music, you know, and what it was that was important to me that I wanted to have in my music, and what it was that I wanted to express to people could only surely come over life experience, you know.
100%. There is something though to being that young, feeling like you could, right? Because I do think that like a lot of, and I can apply this to my own life. And dude, I remember interviewing you twice while you're in One Direction during Nickelodeon, like years ago. Yeah. I looked like some fat little kid and like they shoved me into some like suit or something on some orange carpet and some like backstage. You're in, dude, really a crazy time. Like children, like I look at that photo and I go, pure children.
Yeah, babies.
Yeah. But there is something to like that belief, like even in that moment of like this like, yes, delusion or like blind confidence or like insane deep naivete that like just keeps you so deadly focused on what you feel like you should be doing and what you know in your heart and in your mind you need to be doing. Right? Like there is something to having that North Star that like still had to have played a part to getting you here today, right? To the album that we're
definitely
talking about.
And that, like, if I didn't have that confidence, you know, at that age to believe that I could have done them things, I would have never been in the situation I was in, you know. And I look back and think that was some, like you said, blind confidence, you know what I mean? It's just this naive young kid that just believes he can conquer the world, you know, and
so delusional,
actually has no fucking skills at all, you know what I mean? But he believes he can do some crazy stuff, and that is, you know, development of life, I think, for everybody, you know. I think most people go through that. Most people don't want to admit it and accept it, even at any age, you know what I mean? But I'm aware of it, you know, and I think it's something that we should talk about for sure.
Dude, so delusional, but really special.
Yeah.
Really, and
it drives you to crazy places that you wouldn't even think about as a 30-year-old man. You wouldn't even be like, oh yeah, I could go do that. You wouldn't have the audacity, you know what I mean?
He did it.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. All right, back to what I am. This is, don't take me for what I'm saying. Just take me for what I am. It's giving a self-acceptance anthem, even if that self-acceptance could be unhealthy. Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think, you know, the thing about life is not everything's beautiful. The real important things in life, from my experience, are things that are a bit, you know, dark, that like you go through that teach you something important about yourself. And that's the way this life works, you know, like it's not some utopian existence from beginning to end. There's highs and lows, and every part of it is as important as the next.
They connect to one another, right? Like they really are. And the way you figure out how to move forward is by learning from what was, where you've been. It's interesting. Like time is a part of that, right? Like,
yeah, because that lyric there, what I'm saying is sometimes I might talk shit, you know, but that doesn't necessarily mean I am shit.
Totally.
You know? I have integrity, and I'll show you my actions that this is who I am and this is my morality. This is what I stand behind, you know?
And you know what? That's kind of how I adopted it in my own life and felt understood by it, right? Like, say I'm with my boyfriend and we get into a fight, and I may say something that is, I really don't mean.
It doesn't mean you don't love them, right?
100%. Yeah. My actions
you just lost your shit in that moment.
Exactly.
Like, for a second. And that's a really human thing.
Yeah.
Like,
it's actually the most human thing.
That's it. Yeah.
Genuinely. It's literally, I felt so understood by that. I really did.
I'm glad I could put it into some sort of sentiment that like you understood too. Like that was the whole intention behind this record. Like, I think people gloss things up a lot. The truth of it is when truth is staring you in the face, it's not always pretty. Like,
But like, you run from it.
Yeah.
By the way, and that's
the whole world runs from it.
100%.
I think, yeah.
Isn't that a little bit like birds on a cloud, running from the truth, something that you know is inevitable, and in your gut it's telling you this is fucking not right and toxic.
I'm running from this feeling that I know I can't escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're just like holding on to just one more great day.
Give me one more day of happiness. I need it.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, for sure.
I get it. I really do get it. Do you feel more understood by writing these types of songs, or a record like that? Or like at least maybe.
I don't know if I feel understood right now, like at this point.
Yeah.
Like when the record's been out and it's lived with people for a bit, and like we have more of these conversations, like I'm having with you right now, and you're saying to me like, I understood that, like I got that. It's interesting for me to hear that. You know what I mean? I've lived with this record for 6 years just by myself, so it's very much just been like therapy for myself, just with my own thoughts and my own estimations and my own expectations. And now I can hear other people's opinions, and the more I get to hear that, the more I get to feel that that I feel understood. Like, people get this too. They felt the same way that I felt, and I managed to put it into words and they understand it.
Totally. Does time scare you?
Does time scare me? Yeah, I think time should scare everybody.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's the most valuable asset.
Yeah.
It's one thing you can't ever get back.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
There's no price on it, is there?
No, there isn't, because it's invaluable.
Exactly.
Because with time, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild to think about.
It is.
It's wild. Can we talk about grateful?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's attached to time passing and the idea of time and watching something grow in front of your eyes, which is wild to think about. Something that you created yourself.
Yeah.
And then the idea of teaching that human being everything for the first time. What does that mean to you? Like, can you describe that?
I think the idea behind the song Grateful is like what we just touched on before, like all of the things in life that come to us, however they're, packaged and bundled up. You got to accept them, for what they are, and be grateful for them things. Like, because even in, the darkest moments, you're still learning from something and you're overcoming something, In terms of what it means, for me being grateful, like that song is literally that. Like, I'm just grateful for all of the life experience that I've got that's led me to this place and helped me hopefully develop into a better human,
Is that attached to your daughter?
It is in some sense, but I'm also talking about other things too,
Totally.
I think I say I love it when the waves calm down, love it when the rain falls down. I'm grateful for you, I love it when there's craziness, and I love it when it subsides, I'm grateful for it all. That's what I'm saying.
My note is unwavering love.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what the fuck's going down. That's the one thing that's consistent.
Definitely. Yeah.
Is gratefulness the same as love?
I don't know. I guess it really depends, on the situation. But in terms of, being grateful for something, I think you can just have an appreciation for it also, You don't necessarily have to be in love with the appreciation,
Is there anything that you're grateful for today that maybe you weren't initially when or whatever the situation or thing centered your life?
The main thing that I always feel bad about, like when I look back over my life, is not enjoying the band enough. Like, I feel like I just took things too seriously, and I'm grateful that I'm able to be happier now, like, and actually enjoy things and own my own perspective a bit, like glass half full versus it being half empty. Like, that's my choice, I get to decide what that is. So if I frame, everything in a negative manner, I'm not going to gain no satisfaction from it. But if I move with happiness, I can gain so much more, and I can have a good time and enjoy my life. And I think that's one thing that I'm really grateful for now that I didn't understand the importance for when I was younger. I didn't understand the importance of just trying to be happy. I had this like teen angst thing going on, chip on my shoulder, where I'm like, it's really cool to just be moody as fuck all the time, you know what I mean? And it's not. Like, you're just a loser. Let's be honest, you know what I mean? Like, you should be a nice person. You should be somebody that people want to be around and enjoy being in your presence, and you should bring light to people's day instead of being this fucking negative cloud of energy, you know?
How do you find peace with that today?
How do I find peace with that? Like, I know it sounds super cliche and I keep saying it, but I feel like my daughter brought that back for me, like brought that color back in my life, you know? And she just makes me happier. I have so much love in me that I didn't have before she was born. She just makes me happy. She laughs all day. She wants to do the silliest things and she gains so much excitement from it, you know? She just has a whole fresh perspective on life that it had somewhat become grey for me, you know?
It's really special. What is it like to watch her play instruments? Because I hear she's a
It's
musician.
amazing. Yeah, she can play a little bit. Yeah, she's not like expert level and stuff, but she's got a bit of rhythm, you know, like when she's hitting the drums and stuff, like you can tell that she could definitely develop that into something. Her mum was actually really good at Guitar Hero on the drums. I was like, maybe she got that from her mum, you know what I mean? Because I was diabolical at it and she used to beat me all the time, and I used to be like, what the fuck? Like, I'm the musician and she beats me at this game, you know what I mean? But Khai's got that too. She got a bit of natural rhythm on the drums and stuff. So it's amazing, you know. It's amazing to see any part of her development, not even just in a musical sense, just in a human sense, you know. Her retention for language and her understanding for words is really impressive. She remembers entire books like that I've read to her, and then she'll read the book back to me. She doesn't know what the words are, but she remembers what I've said on the pages, and she'll read the story back to me. She knows whole songs, like every word for word, like all the Trolls tracks and everything. Like, she sings up fully and she doesn't miss a lyric. Yeah, she's crazy, and she can run stuff too, like do little like trill runs, like 3-4 notes in one thing. Yeah, like it's crazy.
Biology's
yeah, just natural
crazy
ability already. Yeah,
that's wild.
so yeah, it's mad just to see her developing as a person all the time. Yeah,
New meaning to life, new everything, everything's new from that moment on.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Because you genuinely live, everything you do is for someone else.
I think to some degree, you know what I mean? Not everything I do.
No,
It's-
but
yeah,
there's a different meaning to it.
it's a
right?
massive responsibility. I'd say it's probably 80%, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of my life now, yeah.
What's the other 20?
I think it's important to keep 20% for yourself, you know, like something that still is for you, you know, like when I'm in the studio or if I'm painting or, you know, I'm doing my gardening or whatever it is that I do is for me, you know, that I keep some identity that is still me. It's not just Zayn the dad, you know.
What do you garden? What do you have? What do you plant?
All kinds of stuff. Like I've got when it's in season, obviously it's all like dead there right now because it's freezing cold. But when it's in season, chilies, cucumbers, carrots, watermelons, peppers, tomatoes, corn.
How many years will they
eggplant.
fruit?
Sorry.
How many years? How many times a year will they like bear fruit?
You get like a good like I want to say like harvest towards like the end of like April, beginning of May, like you can get, and then you can get another harvest towards the end of like summer, like June, July, August, like just before everything starts getting cold again.
So how, like, what are we?
But you can constantly be picking, like, so if you go to like a chili tree, you can take as many chilies as you want off one week and then go back next week and it might be full again. You know what I mean? You can just keep taking things
cool
off
is
of them.
that?
It's amazing. It's really
Sick.
cool. It's like having a shop in your garden.
Look, I have fruit trees in my around my house. Like I have a pear tree. I have limes, I have lemons, and I have oranges, and I have peppers.
Yeah, you've got some beautiful things out here because them things are what grow.
Oh my god, dude, they're bearing
yeah.
They're
lemons
fruiting.
and oranges and stuff don't grow where I'm living. Yeah, so
Yeah, you
you're
can't
lucky
get that.
that you can do that. That's amazing.
Oh, dude, I got citrus coming out my ass.
Yeah.
I'll send you some. I would love.
I
to
grew
start
some
like
lemons here when I lived here, but my lemons didn't grow well, and they grew massive, but the skin was like
thick,
so
right?
thick, yeah. Like, and the inside there was no lemon. It was
feel
just
like
all
that's
skin.
common.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know
And
what happened,
And
but
people like show off their giant lemons. I'm like, dude, you gotta cut it open.
yeah. Let me see what's inside
Yeah,
of it.
show me the meat.
Is it all skin? Because it
Yes.
usually is. Yeah.
No, but like I have pride in like the things that I grow. It's weird. It's this new. It's a different sense of pride that I never thought I'd have. Like this, like, and I think it gives like very, very, like, I don't know what the right word is, like old school, tribal, whatever the fuck. But like, like I lived off my fucking land, brother.
Oh,
Like-
definitely. Yeah, like accomplishment. Like,
Yes!
I own this land. I'm man in dirt, and this is
fuck yeah,
something I did. Yeah.
dude. That's my boyfriend. Fucking every day I wander my yard analyzing all my plants.
Sick.
And I'm in my cactuses, and then I have my house plants. Like we have plants here, they're fine. I have crazy fucking plants, crazy plants.
Amazing.
I'm obsessed with them.
That's cool. Yeah.
I just love growing. Like I think it's maybe the creation of something out of nothing.
Yeah, definitely, and also just the feeling that you get from nurturing something, you know, that's not you. Like,
Yeah,
you give care and effort to something else, and then in return, it's easier for you to give care and effort to yourself.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's a selfless act, innit? The plant's not talking to you, it's not giving you anything back, but you're giving it water, you're giving it food, you're watching it grow, and you enjoy that.
I
like,
maintain her.
yeah,
I love seeing her grow, and then I start propagating them.
and it makes you feel good.
Yes.
like, as a person.
And then
Like,
I see them around my house, and they bring me joy, and I know I'm breathing a little
I
bit
did
better.
that. Yeah, I'm keeping it alive. Like,
Yes.
it's really cool.
My new thing is propagating them. Like I'll propagate like the house plants. So then I try to like grow more and more and more of them.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I'm like trying to grow roses. Like I don't know, I'm figuring it out.
Okay, cool.
I'm
yeah.
fucking around to
Yeah,
find it out,
that's
dude.
gangster. Yeah, my grandma used to grow a lot of roses in her garden.
Oh, that's
in the UK. Yeah, her whole garden was filled with
I
roses.
feel like they have good climate for that, which is like
It must be, yeah, because she
Yeah.
had some beautiful roses. We had a lot of beautiful roses in the local park near my house too. Like the caretaker of the park used to like look after, but they were amazing roses, like really beautiful.
do you miss it? Do you miss being home?
Yeah, parts of it, you know. There's certain parts I don't miss too. But yeah, for sure, I miss my family, you know, I miss my loved ones, and the culture of, you know, where I come from, people's general like attitudes and personalities.
You tell me it's not the same.
It's
in
not
Pennsylvania?
it's not the same in Pennsylvania, surprisingly.
That's so weird.
It's very different, yeah, but it's cool, you know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most extroverted human anyway, so like even when I'm living in PA, I'm pretty much on my property. I don't really go out and do crazy things, go here and there. The only places I go is with Khai. Like, I'm a dad, like we go to Disney on Ice or Nickelodeon or, you know, Broadway Frozen show. Like, she's got me out more times in the last 6 years than I've been out myself, for sure, yeah.
So, but by the way, how
Well,
great
3
is
years since
that?
she's been born, but I mean, like 6 years prior to that, I don't think I was
Totally.
going anywhere.
But like, but also like when you were going out, like you weren't going to see Disney on Ice, and then
No,
also, like,
definitely not, yeah.
watching this bean that you create that's currently sprouting into this full blown human. Enjoy something, like enjoy these people skating, like their life depends on it, like their bills need to be paid,
She loves it,
and
yeah.
she's obsessed with it.
She thinks it's amazing.
My nephew's he's 3. Yeah, he's 3. Wow, that's crazy.
Same age as Khai.
That's wild. And this age is like so. They're turning into human beings.
Yeah, man, it's mad, and you can really see it too. Like, they're just becoming who they're gonna be, you know.
It makes me sweat thinking about it.
Yeah.
And they're so verbal.
They
Talk a bunch. Will you play the album for her?
I played the record. I got the first print of the vinyl.
Sick.
And I played it on vinyl, and she was dancing to it and like coming in and out. She was like, "This Baba," and she's like going through and like singing along and stuff. And she was singing "What I Am," and which other song did she really like? There's a song on my record called "Stardust." She really loves that song too.
In that moment, what do you feel?
Just pure joy and like feelings of just being real proud, you know, that she likes something that I do. It's really cool. I don't know if a lot of kids think their parents are that cool. So she thinks it's cool. Like, I don't know how long that's going to last. Like I said, you know what I mean? She might get to a certain age and be like, Dad, no one gives a shit about you anymore. Like, you know what I mean? You need to stop. But
She's the one who tells you to hang it up.
she'll be the person, yo, maybe you've had your day, mate. You can go home. For sure.
I think it's time you move on to something new.
I think you should go do something else, Dad. Yeah,
Maybe
you can
like-
always rely on them for brutal honesty, you know what I mean? So
She tells you to get into franchises or
definitely,
something.
yeah, you need to branch out, Dad.
Is it weird for her to not have an accent? To be raised without an accent?
She has an accent with certain words.
Yeah, because she's around you.
Yeah, so certain things she says, she sounds really British, but still in an American accent. So she calls a tomato, but she says it in an American accent. She goes, tomato, you know? She don't call it a tomato. She says tomato. So it's like a hybrid accent she's got going on. It sounds a bit English and a bit American.
It's adorable.
Yeah,
Wild.
she's cool.
There's no way in a million years you ever thought that like you'd call some random state in America home, right?
No, definitely not. It's so random to me, even when I think about it myself, that I live in Pennsylvania. I always catch myself like talking to my best friend or whatever, and I'm like, so weird. Like, I live in Pierre. Like, did you ever think I'd be living here? It's so weird, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Life takes you on a journey. You got to follow it, I think.
Fuck yeah. At what point do you realize that you have to follow the journey and not work against it?
I think when you get like a level of acceptance and love for yourself, you know, I think then it's easier. It's not as much of a struggle.
Do you remember that moment?
I think so, yeah. I think it's been a development over the last like 5-6 years for me.
What was it?
Just got sick of just feeling like I had a grey cloud over my head, to be honest.
I get it.
Yeah.
How do you take ownership of that and manage it?
I don't know if there's a specific way to go about it. I think the main thing that I think a lot of people could, you know, benefit from is awareness, you know, of your own actions and just acceptance for them things and being like, yo, like, this is something I did. I hold my hands up. It wasn't great, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I've learned from it, and this is where I am. It's just important to be conscious, you know, and aware of who you are and your effects on other people around you.
Easier said than done, right?
Yeah, way easier said than done for sure.
Is that connected? As I look through medical records on my fucking clipboard. Hold on. This is fucking insane. Is it weird? Is that connected to shoot at will at all?
Shoot at will in what sense?
This idea that like, God, I fucking got distracted in the time that
It's all good. No, I just wanted to make sure I answer your question properly.
No, I want to properly connect it. I mean, one, awareness, right? But like, even this idea that like, you repeat this line, history is pulling you back.
Mm-hmm.
There's awareness there that's attached to one's actions, others' actions around you, being accountable for those actions.
Mm-hmm.
Even this idea, the physical action of putting your hands up and essentially kind of like,
do what you got to do.
yeah,
Take it.
yeah,
Take what you got to take.
that's it.
I'm at your mercy. You know what I mean? For sure. And that's what that song's about. Yeah, accepting that for sure and having that level of acceptance. Like whatever comes can come, and I'll just move with it.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah, but also freeing and very like empowering.
How does it make its way into a record, a song?
Sorry?
How does that feeling, that idea make its way into this song? Like, where does it begin for you in life that you need to write a song called Shoot at Will?
Yeah, it's tied into you know, feelings of you know, uncontrollable feelings, like not being able to necessarily manage a situation, but just coming to that level of acceptance with it, you know what I mean, where you're like, it's cool, like, sure, will do your worst, I'll take what comes.
But is there something about writing a song about it that gives you some sort of control?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what the whole process of writing is, you know what I mean? It's when you put things into writing and you see it in front of yourself, you're forced to accept that it's reality, you know, rather than it just being a thought in your own mind.
Who's the firing squad?
Huh?
Who is the firing squad?
I hold my hands up for the firing squad. Whoever the firing squad may be at whatever particular moment in life, I feel like there's always a firing squad. Maybe, you know, if you want to make it a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more like common, like cool street cred word might be, you know, haters or whatever the fuck. Like, I was trying to look for a word there,
hater,
but I couldn't think of it.
Kids say haters.
Yeah, but it's stupid. Yeah, I'm not into that. But, you know, whatever situation you're in life, there's always going to be people that are holding you accountable for certain things or questioning certain things that you do. So whoever the firing squad may be, you know what I mean, I hold my hands up to them and let them ask what they want to ask. Even maybe you're the firing squad today, you know what I mean?
Connected to what I am, or what am I, what flipping it, there is something there of like this unrelenting self-acceptance, right? So like this idea that like no matter what, you're going to accept who you are and take pride in it,
Mm-hmm.
even if it means, you know, you're going to be judged for it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's a sick place to be in life, eh?
I think so, yeah. I'm still learning, you know. I'm not a finished article. I'm still growing. I could sit here at 50 and I'm sure I'd say different things, you know.
We can have that conversation.
Yeah.
If I'm here.
Oh, all right, cool.
Knock on wood, eh?
I'm
Yeah?
down.
I don't even know if that's fucking real wood. I'll touch some real wood before we get out of here. We'll get in there.